At KFMA.com. You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Wednesday, June 14th. Good morning, Weirdo.
Good morning.
And good morning, Tucson. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. Stoked about today's show. Jam-packed, ready to go. Lots of things to cover. Gonna have some friends stop by, some things to give away. You know the deal. First and foremost, let's go right down to some of these major announcements. First, I'd like to congratulate the Las Vegas Knights for winning the Stanley Cup last night.
Okay.
Yeah. Did your boyfriend watch the game?
No.
Okay. So not a hockey fanatic. The reason why I'm even bringing up the Stanley Cup and the Las Vegas Knights is Las Vegas is an example of how you can get a desert town to be excited about hockey, right? And I think, the Coyotes should take note. And it's really, there's one secret to the trade, to get an entire community to be rabid fans, to pay money to sell out arenas, to, pack auditoriums and pavilions outside the arenas. There's one thing you got to do, and that's just win.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
You just have to have a winning team. And that's exactly what the Las Vegas Knights built in just a few short years. This is their second Stanley Cup win. It's a big deal for the city of Vegas. And you would think it's a bunch of diehards who were born and were crawling onto the rink all in Nevada, when obviously they have the same climate and, essentially the same passion for ice sports that us desert dwelling folks do, which is literally none. But if you put together a winning team, then people like winners, they come out in full force, they support it, and then they become lifelong fanatics. And that's what you're seeing in Las Vegas for the Las Vegas Knights as they celebrate their second Stanley Cup win in about 5 years. And what's cool about this is there's a Roadrunners connection. Aiden Hill, who was the Tucson Roadrunners goalie for about 5 years, or like four to 5 seasons.
Okay.
I know Aiden well. He's on the Las Vegas Knights, so now he's a Stanley Cup winner. So we have our Tucson Roadrunners, one of our Roadrunners, actually won the Stanley Cup last night.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So shout out to Aiden Hill. Congratulations for being a champ.
And what is it that hockey calls that is it a minor league, D league? What do they call it? So what is the Roadrunners to the NHL? AHL.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Minor league, D league. I mean,
I don't know.
The way that you said it just makes it sound like, less important. I don't know.
Development league. No, it's not less important. Look, he went on to win a Stanley Cup. Come on.
Well, yeah, I know.
So it's very important.
In the NHL, yeah. But the way you said it, it was kind of just stripped away the value. It's almost like you got a boyfriend and you got a husband, and if say you describe one of their penises as the the littler version, or the
Not even close.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it strips away the value, but still, it's a big deal for hockey people, and it was exciting. And now it's really no sports but baseball and a little bit of golf until come August. So this is a good break for all the women out there and stuff that don't have to deal with their fanatic significant others just spamming out. We got some good comments on the internet yesterday. I talked with Wolfgang Van Halen, a Mammoth WVH. Wolfie, man, he has a good memory. He recalled the last time that I talked with him 3 years ago. Yeah, almost to the day. He was just like, yeah, it was 2020. And I'm like, Jesus, man, you remember better than I do. But we had a good conversation, and, a bunch of people, I posted it, and, a few of Wolfgang's fanatics found it on YouTube and said a bunch of nice things. So I appreciate that. And if you are a fan of Wolfgang Van Halen and you want to hear the conversation, it was a fun one. We had some laughs and got some insight on the new album that's coming out in August. One person wrote, wow, one of the best interviews with Wolf And this person started following me on Instagram, and it's literally a page dedicated to Wolfgang Van Halen, right? So when this person is like one of the best interviews with Wolf, I'm taking that as like the highest praise.
Nice.
They went on to say you had the best questions, lots of laughs too. Please have him back. And of course, Wolfgang is coming back, and all next week we're going to be giving away tickets for Wolfgang Van Halen. I'll give you more details on where you could see Mammoth WVH in action and who they're going to be performing with. But I found out after the fact from Mucho. He hit me up and he's like, dude, I didn't know you were talking to Wolfgang. I would have gave you tickets to give away. I'm like, dude, all right, well, that's next week, right?
Yeah.
So we have that going on. Later on in the podcast broadcast, we're going to be talking about the aliens, more so the Las Vegas alien sighting, because that story continues to develop and it's getting eerier and eerier by the minute. Hot Rock shared this YouTube video that shows the footage of the aliens in the background. And I know it's difficult to see, but it will still kind of give you the heebie-jeebies. And also on top of that, the family that made the 911 call, that had police show up and investigate this, right now is currently MIA. Nobody knows where this entire family is.
Oh, no.
Yes. It is weird. And here's a quick reminder in case you don't know what we're talking about. This is over the weekend in Las Vegas. A family, Mexican-American family, called the police to report that something crashed in their backyard, and there were two 10-foot tall creatures with huge eyes and huge mouths staring at them in the backyard. Here's the 911 call. All right, so that's like the teenage son. Now, the dad and the uncle, whatever, I'm assuming, whoever the elder family member, they speak Spanish first, kind of, but speak a little bit English. You could tell in the police footage. Here's body cam footage of the police officers. Okay, yes, I know there's no audio, but okay, we're back here live anyways. I'd like to reintroduce you, my good friend Dani Cutler. Good morning, Dani.
Good morning.
And welcome to the podcast broadcast stream. Yeah, we are going to talk conspiracy theories and aliens, and we're also going to talk boomerisms and radio DJs and everything else. It's going to be fun. We had a lot of good clips that we have loaded as well. That's why we started the podcast broadcast early. So it's an oversized podcast broadcast. So make sure you keep commenting along. Do not lurk, and make sure that your voice is heard and we see you watching as well. All right. With that said, we got about a minute 43 before we're on the air. How are you feeling so far? You woke up early to drive down here. How was the drive?
It was fine. I noticed that people in Tucson drive the same as people in Phoenix.
It's an Arizona thing.
Yeah.
Look, that's I've been saying this for years when I came down here, because there's this kind of like rivalry between Tucson and Phoenix. And it's one way. It's really Tucson saying fuck Phoenix. And Phoenix is oblivious to it because they're too busy pointing in each and every direction, saying fuck you on this side, fuck you on that side, whatever, right? So they're too busy hating each other in Phoenix to care if anyone else hates them. But the reality is, it is the same. It is the same in many different ways. It's still the same pink houses, still a lot of the same franchises in some ways. There are distinctive differences that add charm to this city, but for the most part, it's all Arizona.
Isn't it like 5 degrees cooler down here most times?
They say that, but no.
No.
Yeah, it's the same. I've been through many summers where I drive up to Phoenix on the weekends and I'm like, same fucking temperature.
Yeah.
It's hot on hot. Going back to Tucson isn't like, relieving by any means in a lot of ways. But let's see. Andrew said, guys, I almost got lost in Mount Lemon yesterday. Well, I'm glad that you got found.
Okay.
Yes.
Glad you made it back. Good
job.
job.
The thing with Mount Lemon, it's a mountain, right? So if you get lost, just start going downward. As long as you're like walking at a decline, yeah, then you should be fine. You'll make your way back to somewhere. All right, let's get on the air here. We got 8 seconds and finishing up playing Godsmack. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Hanging out here with my good friend Dani Cutler and Weirdo. Now, Dani, you've been a radio fan for many years. Are you familiar with the name R-Dub and the Slow Jams? Was that ever your thing?
No.
Okay, so growing up, you are, right?
Yep. Yeah. He was here in Tucson.
It's the curse of independent radio. I don't know anything about actual radio.
Well, R-Dub's been around since like the 90s. The guy has been somewhat of a legend, starting off with the slow jams craze in the 90s. And yeah, he was somewhat here in Tucson, but he's like a syndicate. He's based out of
syndicated now,
he's based out of San Diego, and he's a legend on that. And he's making like national news because of a promotion, and I'm actually super envious of.
Okay.
He started his own country. Like legitimately started his own country. Yes. Now, what he did was he bought, I think, 11 acres outside of San Diego in the desert, and he is calling it a micronation that is called Slowjamistan. Yes, Slowjamistan is an actual micronation in the deserts of California.
Oh, that's
and
good.
he had a press conference and everything. And there are certain aspects of Slowjamistan that I'm 100% on board with, like their rules and their laws. Now, even though R-Dub kind of dressed up like a dictator, it's not necessarily a dictatorship, even though he owns that country. Now, here's another fun fact. He's been in radio so long, he's one of the rare DJs that actually makes money. And I know this for a fact because he's been to more than 190 countries across the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, my most exotic location I ever been to in the world was Rocky Point. So I'm still a little upset by that. But he went on to say in his press conference that he's seen some incredible places that many people do not get a chance to travel to. And that made him think, what's next for him? Well, that's to make a country of his own. And like any country, the micronation has rules for residents if they want to park their RV there. So there's outlawed actions that include wearing Crocs. So Crocs are outlawed in Slowjamistan.
Good.
Yeah, because you know what? Slowjamistan is a very sexy country. Usually you listen to slow jams, you're going to have sexy time, or you're using it as like a backdrop. Nobody's having sex in Crocs, period. Except for nurses on the clock in hospitals. That's a fact. But besides that, so they outlaw Crocs. I'm all for that. No eating string cheese by biting it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's very specific.
That is very specific. I mean, you can pull the string.
Right. That's how you eat string cheese.
True.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes, but if you bite into it like a sociopath, you're banned from Slowjamistan. And also no playing mumble rap music. So these are 3 laws from Slowjamistan that I'm completely on board with, and I do appreciate. The micronation has not yet been officially recognized by the United States through through the United States, although R-Dub's Slowjamistan passport has been stamped by 16 countries. So, it's a start. It's a nation within a nation, or micronation.
Yeah.
Shout out to R-Dub for doing that. And eventually maybe I'll have not my own nation, but maybe my own town.
Okay.
It'll be nice. Yeah. With my own rules and
like
stuff.
your own little corner, your own intersection.
Yeah.
Start small. We'll start with an intersection.
Well, no. I don't want an intersection. Usually that's a memorial thing. So I don't want to know. Yeah. Yeah. So if you had your own little micronation, what would be a law that you would institute in your micronation? I'll start with you, Weirdo, and I'm asking you the same, Dani.
No flip-flops.
No flip-flops.
Flip-flops, especially on men.
I might have to wear those Friday because this ain't your nation. All right, what do you say, Dani?
Oh, geez. Man, I'm not awake enough yet to even contemplate my own small country.
One law.
With rules.
One law, one rule. I know that you're very welcoming.
No country music.
Yeah, no country music.
There we go.
Yeah, that is a good one. I say
we will not have country thunder in my town.
Oh, but if you haven't been to Country Thunder, that is a party. In fact, actually, now my law is no pants that aren't Daisy Dukes because they look amazing. We're keeping the conversation. Yeah, thank you. We're keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, which is live streaming on our Facebook pages and youtube.com/beefvegan, your TMI top 5, and so much more. It's coming up next. You can keep it right here as well. Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, same question to streamers out there. All right, you have a micronation. What's your one law that you're going to implement first and foremost? And I want to see them. I'll share them on the screen because I think, ban the word literally. Anthony said, yeah, that's good. Yeah. Let's see. President El Bifo is, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, if it's my law, I guess I would have to participate in that as well and wear Daisy Dukes. Nobody wants to see that. But I'm sure it will happen. I mean, I it's not a hypocritical nation. I don't like to do that. If I'm going to implement a law, then I'm going to abide by
You
said
should
law.
follow the laws that you implement. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing.
Set an example.
Exactly. I'm just trying to set an example. It's should I play Come As You Are or Flagpole Sitta?
Oh, Flagpole Sitta.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Is it Danger? What's the name of the band?
Harvey Danger.
Yeah, Harvey Danger. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh yeah. I have my Signal Song Takeover too, which I have Oliver Tree for this, but I was actually thinking, I'm like, well, since you're here, Dani, maybe we play some Mother.
Sure, do it.
Because that's a KWSS staple.
Sure
and
is.
Yeah, I mean, and so Dani here, is essentially took over the morning show after I left on KWSS.
You mean you sort of threw the mornings at me?
Somebody had to do it, right?
You were right.
Yeah. So I had the opportunity to move down to Tucson, make a little bit of money, and I took that opportunity, trying to legitimize and everything else, whatever. And we built a beautiful thing in KWSS up in Phoenix. And, Dani was around the station for years. We built it up from literally 0 listeners, slowly but surely building it up. Now it's a rated station. Yep. It's an award-winning station. It has, done great things for the community. And very proud of it. So when I left, it was bittersweet because I was happy that I was going to be able to make a living doing radio because we were volunteers and we weren't getting paid for this. But at the same time, I was sad to leave behind something so special.
Yeah.
And I would always remind people who are on the show, like, hey, enjoy this moment, right? It's, that's the cliche, enjoy the journey, not the destination, right? And enjoy this moment because if you do progress in this industry, you're never going to have more fun than you're having right now.
Yes.
Right. And I was mostly correct, but I'm having fun again. So,
it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I brought that independent spirit here.
Right.
And, fought with my managers to the point where now I'm pretty much doing everything that they disputed me for in the first 5 years of me working for this company. They're just like, you didn't work real radio. You didn't work real radio is what they kept saying. Right. And then I get in the position to have the show, and then I'm doing all the things that they need me to do that I learned from not doing real radio.
Yep.
Yeah. So Dani took it over and, continued to put the spotlight and emphasis on independent artists, local artists, community, and built it up wonderfully, even bigger than when I was there. So that was fantastic just to see that. So what was some of your favorite moments through your run at KWSS?
Oh, man. Just, when I would watch you do the morning show and when I took it over, I never wanted, I was like, no, I'm not. These are all the things I'm not doing now, thanks to Be Vegan.
Right.
These are all the things I'm not going to do. So I think the best part is just being able to open my home and giving the independent artists this platform where they can talk about their music because they don't get that
right
in other places. And, I know since then, I mean, you left in what, 2016
at the end of 2016. So I'm coming up on shit, man. It seems like 8 years.
Yeah.
Or no, 7 years.
7.
Yeah.
So since then, even streaming has just exploded, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's like, pre-save, like this on Spotify, follow us here, follow us there. And so the challenge for me was like letting these artists know that, hey, radio is still important, and listening to yourself on the radio and having others hear you is still equally, if not more important at times, because you'll still get more ears. And it was sort of an enjoy this moment for them. So it was like you could talk about it. On Spotify, you're just streaming your song. You can't come in and actually talk about the music, talk about the background, talk about your shows.
Right.
And KWSS, am I allowed to say KW? We're on the stream, right?
Yeah,
so I can say whatever I want.
You can say it on FM.
That's the independent mind going, can I say that?
No, and it's funny. I mean, we literally just talked about R-Dub, who's, DJ on another station in this market. Yeah. But, like the rules of yesterday aren't rules that I play with today, and they're not implied anymore. Luckily, I got to the point where we could just do that stuff.
The bottom line is just getting out there in the community was so special for me, and being able to interact with everybody and just seeing how it was appreciated when I would show up at a show and see them and they're not expecting you to be there.
Right.
And just knowing that, I mean, a lot of DJs don't do that. They won't go out there and see the local shows. They'll go to all of the big shows that are coming.
Right.
But they're not going to go to these little shows at these little dive bars and stuff. And I did that. You did that. we get out there and we're just among the people, right?
Yeah,
I think
there
that's
are
how.
people.
Yeah, and I think that's how I got the moniker Scene Mom, was because I was just there and I was like taking care of everybody and like, do you need orange slices after this show? You worked hard up there, man.
She
You did
is.
great.
She is the Scene Mom for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah,
That's
and
amazing.
I definitely relate to the bittersweet as well, because I mean, I was at KWSS 16 years.
Yeah,
I mean, who does that for free for 16 years?
I know.
I'm
I know.
insane.
Well, I mean, you still got into the music industry, worked with Danny Zelisko, the
That's
promoter.
true.
That
Yeah.
was, part of it.
It
So
provided other opportunities as well, as you know about that too. I mean, it
Absolutely.
was definitely a gateway, if you will.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's difficult. It's not easy to
Yes.
do, and it's definitely a passion project. And
Yes.
I'm just glad that you were there and you were passionate about it to carry it on, because it means a lot. It means a lot. I actually reached out to Frank, the station owner of KWSS, not the jerk over there, but yeah, because I was just like, what you got going in the mornings? Because maybe, but obviously I was
He
speaking
told
too
me.
soon.
He told me.
Yeah. No, because I was just like, because I'm doing the show, and since I'm able to pretty much do whatever I want, I'm like, well, would it be possible technically with my little setup here?
You were too late.
Yeah, I know, that's fine. But and for now, we'll see how
For
long
now.
whoever lasts. But
Yes.
and at the same time, I was basically thinking out loud. It was a high idea, if anything, because I don't know. I mean, I know I could do it, like be allowed to do it, but could I technically pull it off?
Yeah.
And it would be, we're already a higher energy show as far as we do our segments, we do our speed breaks. It's go, 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 go.
Mhm.
Usually there's not that much downtime.
Right.
And to double up segments and to just constantly go for the 4.5 hours would be a lot, and it could possibly take a toll on people participating, and it might be hard to maintain. But at the same time, it's a challenge, and those are challenges that I look forward to. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have an air check today after the show. By the way, it won't take that long, but we're going to be talking about how I'm going to be doing the post-pandemic playlist show, which is a Sunday night. I get to play whatever the fuck I want show. And then I'm like, well, maybe I could just upload that show as well.
You did that for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So it's same concept, same name. So yeah, essentially I'm like, well, I'm going to be doing a well-produced weekly post-pandemic show that I could, to have you play on the air, stick wherever. People give a shit or not, doesn't matter. And then the other thing, we'll see, but there's obviously big aspirations that we're trying to do here too. So
of course.
Yeah, I know people are sad. I seen the comments on KWSS Facebook page, and you got all that. You got a lot of love. So a lot of hugs.
You don't know. It's funny. I mean, what I would tell people is, when people leave, you have to give that love to people when they're there.
Yeah.
There were people who came out of the woodwork and I was like, whoa, nice talking to you after, 6-7 years or whatever. And you're like, oh, I'm so sorry you're leaving. And you're just like, oh, well, okay.
Did you even know I was here?
I was like, yeah. And it's just interesting. So, I mean, in anything, when things go wrong, you hear about it. When things are going right, you never hear about it. Right?
No, I relate to that so
yeah.
much. It's same thing, where when you are leaving, people will come out of the woodwork and tell you that they were listening for years. They will quote you back and everything. And there are days, especially when you're doing what Danny and I were doing up in Phoenix, we're not getting paid, right? So it was. Sometimes it felt unrewarding. Like, does anyone even appreciate the time and effort that we're putting in for this? Is anybody listening and caring? And there was a time that no one was listening, but that those times change. But yeah, it does, like, at the very least. And you don't want to be on the air being like, hey guys, we get paid in compliments. Like, tell me I'm worth something, please, so I can continue to do this the next day.
I need validation.
Yeah, no, I get that a lot. And I actually saved, and I have it in my Google Doc somewhere. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was really cool that when I left, I got a shit ton of emails and Facebook comments of listeners and stuff, and I copied and put them all together in a Google Doc. And I was going to use this as like a resume thing, or just something to look back on and be proud of, because at the end of the day, I mean, you have pictures, you have memories. Memories fade the more you party. But there's to be able to see through that and be like, okay, cool. There, I made an impact. There was a lot of stuff where, it's like, hey, thanks to you, I got to bond with my kid listening to music.
I did the same thing. I saved a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and that's good. Now, I mean, you're going with technology, and like my goal for this show is to do this show simultaneously live in other markets as well within the thing. And with technology and streaming,
like Ryan Seacrest.
Well, no, because I'll pull the curtain back on that bullshit. But that's all. He records all that in the afternoon.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
In like 2 days, and it runs for the whole week. But but there's a goal with that with technology and the streaming and the way that we're all connected and stuff. It's very possible to be able to still do all that stuff. So I mean, when you do move and you get the I guess the dust settled, so to speak. I mean, are you gonna get picked back up on KWSS and keep being heard? Because it doesn't matter.
It's really funny that you mentioned that, because when I first told Frank, that was the first thing out of his mouth was, you can do this anywhere.
Yeah.
It was the very first thing he said. And I said, I know. But so the plan is taking some time. We're supposed to close on our house and leave the end of this month.
Yeah.
And then go, and we're staying with some family in Massachusetts. And then we'll find, where we want to live, get all settled. But I'm taking at least through the end of the year, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing, no radio, no marketing business, nothing. I just want to get settled and
start the next chapter of your life.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, this is kind of funny. And shout out to my sister Katie in Massachusetts, because not even a week after we put the house on the market and we knew we were going, she sent me this photo of this indie station a mile from her house.
Oh,
this banner out there. I know, and I hope my husband's not watching right now, because he's going to divorce me. I said 6 months, and here I am going, what's this station?
Yeah.
Funny turn on that is I started following them, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook. Not even an hour after I follow them, I get a message on Instagram from them.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we see you're doing indie radio in Phoenix and you're moving. And we were looking around and we like what you're doing, and hit us up anytime. And I was like, I am so divorced. Oh my God.
Oh no.
But and it's a good, I was listening. You do this. This is what you do. You do your research. I'm listening to them, and I'm like, oh, they're playing all the stuff that KWS is kind of playing. And it's a little more rock. It's kind of like if KWSS and 102.1 merged. It's that kind of thing. It's like, but
that's great though.
But they're like, we say F you to the FM, even though they're an LP FM, but that's their tagline.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that
I was like, is this my new home?
That was my mentality, honestly, in all those years.
And new marriage, apparently.
Apparently I'm going to be single for a while, but yeah. So, very long answer to the question, but radio, Beef, radio's in our blood.
Yep.
I absolutely love it. I see that it is obviously not dead.
Right.
It's not, it's
just evolving in different ways.
It's evolving. Yeah. It needs to merge with technology that's happening now. And it's not going anywhere. And it still is the number one medium that people listen to, especially if they're driving around.
Yep.
And I will have a place in it somewhere. I just don't know where that place will be yet.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Well, I think you just basically gave your answers. You have 2 places. You're going to be doing KWSS still, at least like middays, and then you're also going to be doing which is the independent radio out in Maryland.
Here's my big idea that's on the way back burner.
Okay.
Is merging Massachusetts indie bands and Arizona indie bands. And
yes.
Figuring out, you have to.
Yeah.
I have to.
Well, and the goal here is to do the same, just Phoenix and things, but they're 2 different spectrums right now, because they've got a lot of local. We have a local metal scene, but there's going to be basically a circuit that's going to develop here, and it starts with 1 song at a time, which we'll do a single song.
There's so many
today.
Great bands down here in Tucson. Are you kidding?
There are great bands in Phoenix as well, and it's about time that they take this hour-and-a-half little trek to support each other.
Yes.
In different ways.
It's not that far. I left at 6:30 and I got here. After I was in line for coffee, I think longer than actually driving down to Tucson.
And you probably drive slow.
Yeah, I actually do. I am the little gray-haired old lady in the car. I am. I'll admit it.
All right. Well, we have a lot to cover. So we got your TMI top 5 coming up here in just a little bit. I do want to share Rico's 5-star review from yesterday, because I didn't get a chance to get to it. So in case you missed it went a little something like this. Chevelle with the red on Rock 102.1 KFMA. You know, our good friend Rico goes around town and, just visits local establishments. And when he has a pleasurable experience, he immediately runs to Google to leave a review. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here is Rico's 5-star review. Who'd you review today, Rico?
I reviewed Casa Pond.
Casa Pond.
North 1st Avenue in Tucson.
Yeah, I know that Casa Pond. I've seen it. I haven't been in it, but yeah, let me hear all about it. How was your experience?
All right. Like many out here, I've been a little short on scratch lately.
Yeah.
With the news of impending alien attacks, I figured some harmless escapism is a healthy route to take before I have to join the Human Shield Alliance.
Oh.
Now, I've been eyeballing the PlayStation 5 for quite some time, and I figured I wanted a good and fair price. So I may as well go to a pawn shop and trade something in of high value.
Yeah.
Now, my hologram Charizard Pokemon card was stolen from my backpack 20 years ago, unfortunately.
Oh.
But I've been holding on to something very valuable for a few years now that I figured could be worth its weight in gold. A half-smoked pack of American Spirits, light blues, signed by none other than John Hamm.
No.
Yeah. The perks of hanging out at bars in Los Angeles, baby. There's really no way to appraise such an item online, but after watching all 36 seasons of Pawn Stars, I figured the person at the front of a pawn shop would be able to see that this is a rare, one-of-a-kind treasure that would be any Oro Valley resident centerpiece when friends come over to compare Ferraris or whatever it is they do. When I came into Casa Pawn, I thought it would have been a quick in-and-out situation with them thinking they got one over on me. Instead, I dealt with Sam, who didn't immediately see the gold mine I dragged in through the front door. First, I walked in like a confident gentleman, introduced myself, and asked if they had a PlayStation 5 in good condition. Mm-hmm. Sam said they had a few. Then I asked if they deal in trade. Indeed, they did.
Nice.
Then I told Sam to just wait a minute while the last customer left the building because I didn't want to deal with the potentials of jealousy and theft. Once the customer left, I looked around and gave Sam a sly smirk as I pulled out the pack of cigarettes wrapped in saran wrap 3 times. He looked perplexed and asked me if I was actually trading in a pack of smokes. I said, just look a little closer there, buddy. Does this say John Hamm? I laughed and said, you bet your butt it says John Hamm.
Nice.
I forgot what most of Sam said immediately after that because I was already daydreaming of gaming on a beanbag made of exotic leather.
Yes, so nice.
Then Sam farted all over my Cloud 9. Sir, I don't think we can accept this. Why the hell not? Firstly, it's not a conventional piece of memorabilia. It's a pack of cigarettes. It's a health hazard. The fact that it's already opened and half smoked is just scratching the surface. Also, there's no way to verify the authenticity of his signature, blah, blah, blah. I asked him if he didn't trust me and then might have called him a racist or insulted his mom or something. I don't remember. I told him it was definitely worth more than a PS5 and that he was a fool if he didn't see how big of a mistake he was making. I could tell he was getting irritated because he offered me season 2 of Mad Men on DVD just to leave.
Oh, no.
Which I begrudgingly accepted.
Oh, you did? Nice.
Yeah. I've never seen the show, but I'm probably not missing too much with season 1. At least I have one season of a show to binge on my PS4 before the aliens attack. 5 stars.
Oh, you still gave him 5 stars.
Mostly because I hear it's a good show.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Excellent. That's a real review that you can go to Google and see. So Google Casa Pond, look at the Google reviews. And while you're there, give Rico's 5-star review a 5-star review.
And buy some cigarettes signed by John Hamm.
If you can.
If you can.
All right, we're going to hit the reset. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Mammoth WVH's Wolfgang Van Halen live on the show. So stick around. It's Rock 102.1. All right, we're back here live on the podcast broadcast about minute 15 for a tease on the FM side as we're getting ready for our TMI Top 5. And in the video, I'm going to show you what you're going to have to peek at Weirdo's laptop to see is the UFO story from Vegas. This is our top story for the podcast that I can't wait to share with you guys. But we'll do that after the TMI Top 5 because in this video, which is just a breakdown from a YouTuber, they got clips in it from the actual news report stating that the family is now MIA. It shows actually their TikTok videos of the family or the teenage son of the family whose house that this UFO reportedly landed in the backyard or crashed in the backyard for. And it kind of shows high resolution images of the outlines of these supposed aliens. It's very sketchy deal all the way through. And you can say, don't laugh at it, Danny. This could be legit. This could be very scary stuff. The whistleblowers have been happening in the news left and right, and some of them are bullshit, which I like to call bullshit on it. Some of them seem very credible to a certain extent, and it seems like we're getting more and more as we develop to the big scheme of just unveiling that, we're all essentially minions in some overlord's master plan. That's actually the worst way to look at it. But maybe the positive way to look at any aliens is that they're like our buddies. They'll come down and maybe we're their pets, but they're like, when your dog like almost runs out into the road and you grab it and say, no, buddy, don't run in front of that car. Maybe they're like that. I don't know. We're going to go through the rabbit hole of the latest Las Vegas UFO sighting and alien sighting, because there's a video that I can't wait to share for you on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefvegan. But our TMI top 5 is coming up next. There's top 5 headlines that don't involve aliens that I'm going to share with you guys, Weirdo and Dani Cutler, after Planet Zero by Shinedown on Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, so there was my tease. Let's see, 9:12. Okay, we're good on time. And then my single song takeover. I was gonna play Oliver Tree, which I could play tomorrow. But I will play Mother because that's a KWSS thing. And I have 3 songs by Mother in playlist. And I do need to follow up with Brian and get back in touch with him to do the podcast broadcast, because we haven't done that in a minute. But who are some of your favorite artists that you've messed with and talked to over the years?
Oh, Mother one. Max Frost, definitely.
Mhm.
He's so great to talk to. He's so much fun.
He's funny. He's just he's a good character.
Yeah.
Good person.
Well, you got me thinking about Danny Torgerson. You're talking about aliens, and it would be remiss not to mention him.
Seriously. I know.
But he's, good stuff. I got to talk to some, semi-famous people over the years, which has always been fun. Reeve Carney, he is a musician. He actually played Peter Parker in that Spider-Man the musical that did a hot minute on Broadway and sucked.
Oh yeah.
But by the way, excellent musician though.
Yeah.
Well, he was also in Penny Dreadful, the first season of Penny Dreadful, and they were doing a remake of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and he was doing a tour and everything, and I was like, yes, I definitely want to talk to him. And
nice.
And then we brought him into town, and KWSS helped present that, which was
awesome.
nice at Last Exit. So
nice.
It's just good things like that. I don't know, talking to everybody is just so much fun. I just like getting out there and meeting people and seeing what's up. And
you're gonna do it again in Maryland. It's Maryland, right, that you're going to? Massachusetts.
Yes.
All right, so is it close to Boston?
Yeah, we'll probably be somewhere maybe 45 minutes to an hour outside.
That's cool, but it's more suburban and nice. Yeah. Okay. And you're prepared for the cold winters and all that stuff?
Yeah, I was about to say huge change.
Well, I'm not shy in my hate of heat.
Yeah.
I'm not shy at all. It hits 85 and I'm like, what the heck? So
yeah, but isn't it the cliche that the colder it gets, then arthritis kicks in, things
probably
like that?
And I'm not getting any younger, so I already have signs of those kinds of things. But
right. I feel like you're gonna miss Arizona.
I'll tell you what, though, my husband is born here in Arizona, and so it's going to be a big adjustment for him. He's never lived anywhere
but
else.
He's excited about this, huh?
He is. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely the kind of person that if he didn't want to do something, I would know about it. So the fact that he's moving is a good sign.
Okay.
He does want to do it.
Okay, good. Okay. Was it his idea or your idea?
It was kind of both of ours. We've been talking about it for probably, give or take, on and off 10 years.
Yeah.
We've been talking about moving. I've got a bunch of family over there. I'm from New York.
Yeah.
And I have family in New York, Pennsylvania, Boston area. I've got all over the East Coast. And, so we talk about it on and off. Like when I told my daughters, who both live here in Arizona, I told them, they were like, finally, you made the decision. So nobody was surprised when we finally did it. And it was just this year, everything came together and said, let's do it.
Well, what about your daughters? Do they stay in Arizona?
They are staying. My older one's up in Flag. She went to NAU, never came back. She loves it up there.
Yeah, so she's gonna try to live. Is she making a living up there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She is a mechanical engineer, and her internship, she ended up getting a job at the place she's interning up there.
Nice.
So she was interning. So
all right, we got 7 seconds. We got to get back
all
on,
right.
but that's good news. And congratulations on that. You can always visit Flagstaff too. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. That was Shinedown with Planet Zero. It's time for your TMI top 5 or 4, really. I got 4 headlines I want to share. So, Father's Day is this coming Sunday. What do you normally get your husband, Dani, for Father's Day? Because, your husband's a father. 2 beautiful daughters.
Yes, he is. And yes, they are.
Is it difficult to shop for him?
Yes, because he is the kind of person where he's just like, if I want something, I just go get it.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where I just had when the girls were younger, it was easy because they would just make stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And, he'd be like, oh, this is really cute. And then we kind of lose it,
Well, studies have shown that it is the most difficult to buy your father or your significant other something for Father's Day. Now, it is this Sunday, and there's a list of things that dads really want, and they include this. So this is kind of like a hack. A meal out, right?
Okay.
Tickets to a game.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter which game.
Right.
We're just guys. Like, are they competing? Is there going to be a loser? I need to see it. And aftershave.
Aftershave? Like 2 experiences, and then here's some smelly good stuff.
Yeah. Oh, well, the aftershave if you don't really love your father. Just give him aftershave.
There you go.
All right. So there's a church in Utah that's accepting unwanted guns so they can be transformed into gardening tools.
Oh,
So
very cool.
Isn't that nice? And it doesn't work the other way around. Unfortunately, you can't turn like some gardening tools into a badass gun. But I will say that taking guns and transforming them into a gardening tool makes for a pretty badass looking leaf blower. Get out of here, leaves. Right.
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah. So that's happening. And here's, according to a recent study, men addicted to pornography are more likely to have an eating disorder.
Oh,
yeah, studies suggest. Yeah.
Interesting.
So researchers from the University of Haifa and the Max Stern Valley College in Israel both looked at 1,000 Israeli men who completed questionnaires on their pornography use. They found those who watched the most porn were more likely to binge or purge. So they basically want it all. So just part of addictive things.
It's all about consumption.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're sitting there and you're talking to a guy who maybe like eat a little too much at dinner, as soon as you get home, they're going right to Pornhub.
Oh, my boyfriend eats a lot of food.
I was gonna say, my husband can't put that ice cream down.
Check their browser history. I'm just saying. All right. And finally, speaking of your husband and stuff, and as we all get older and stuff, it's always good to know what quality products might be out there. And this is good news for married couples in general. Looks like there's a breakthrough erectile dysfunction gel that triggers erections in 10 minutes. And it just got the green light from the FDA to be sold over the counter for around $7 a tube.
So affordable.
Yeah, affordable. Considering like prescription Viagra is like $60 a pill from a pharmacy. It's a ridiculous amount of money. Emphasis on the D. Now, this is called Erexon, which is almost like erect on, but it's actually the erection is on.
Okay.
Erex on. And it's applied to the head 15 seconds before sex. But see, here's the deal. This is where it gets a little murky, right? It's applied to the head 15 seconds before sex and can trigger an erection within 10 minutes. So wouldn't you want to apply it 10 minutes before sex?
Right.
Instead of just like 15 seconds and then you like spaghetti it for a while and then bam.
Hello, foreplay.
What is that? Anyways, that's your TMI Top 4. Keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. Your single song takeover coming up next, or you can join us, youtube.com/beefvegan. You like that? All right.
I'm like, do you have no pregame? What's happening?
It's like, geez, let's go.
I have all the pregame, no actual game, and my post game is very short. Like, something just came up. I got to go. Right,
Look at this emergency I knew about 20 minutes ago.
All right, I want to get ready for this video. We're going to talk aliens. Well, we also have an odd find in a family's basement that doesn't involve sex toys, even though that was a running theme this week. And the jobs that people consider sexy. We might touch on that. We might not. That might be something that's kind of cheesy. But earlier this morning, we had a breakdown in Weird, and Weirdo was here to share some weird stories, and it went a little something like this. Rock on 2.1 KFMA, that's Foo Fighters with the Pretender. It is now 6:52. Time for Let's Get Weirdo.
Yes.
Excellent introduction. But you got some weird stories you want to share with us, Weirdo?
I do.
All right, lay it on me.
So some road workers in Poland dug up something a lot more than they were expecting while they were building a new road.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Hundreds of suspected vampires that were beneath the soil.
Oh, I need a dramatic sound bed drop, like dun dun dun. Hundreds of suspected vampires found underground in Poland. Why are they suspected vampires?
Because there was coins placed in their mouth, which back 100 or 200 years ago, that was believed at the time to be a way to lift the vampire curse after death.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It makes you always wonder because, mythical creatures and stuff. The theory is that a lot of these mythical creatures that we talk about today could have been actual beings back in the day, or at least exaggerated beings.
Yes.
Now, I wonder what made people believe that these couple hundred souls were vampires.
Well, the other interesting thing that they do is they would also decapitate the head. So they take the head off and then place it between their legs for whatever reason.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, superstitions will make you do some really weird things.
No, I mean, that makes sense to me. Be like, if you assume somebody's a vampire and you lost a significant other to a vampire and you want your revenge, be like, you cut off their head, you stick it between the crotch and you say, suck on that. That's how you get your revenge on that.
Yeah, and if you were unfortunately a family member of that deceased person who maybe died a few days later, it would be assumed that, oh, you must have been killed by your vampire relative.
Oh, wow.
So then the same thing would happen to you. You would get decapitated, and yeah.
See, and that's how they racked up hundreds of people. It all started with one goth person a couple years ago, and then a couple hundred years ago, and then it just spiraled out of control. Well, at least they stopped doing that in Poland. But it would be interesting if any scientist would kind of do a DNA test and see what the deal is, get a little more history behind it, and get some science behind it.
How many people are related and maybe just got taken out by a virus? I don't know.
Or if they are actually vampires. I mean, you dug them up now. What if we have a resurgence of vampires in 2023? we have a lot of weird stuff, coming across our plate every single day. All right, what else is happening in the world of weird?
Well, possibly a real life actual vampire now.
What?
Yeah.
Really? Who?
Yeah. In Ecuador, a 76-year-old woman was pronounced dead at the hospital, but when they did her wake, she got up. She started knocking on the coffin.
Oh, no.
Yes.
How many days later was her wake?
It was actually the same day.
Man.
It was within a few hours. They were just cranking them
Burn
out.
and turn. Burn and turn. That's why you wait a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah. So they opened the coffin. They took her back to the hospital where doctors are saying, her situation still remains dire. Like, she's still going to die. She just hasn't fully done it yet.
Yeah, but still, I mean, even if I was her, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to die.
Right.
Let me die on my own way.
Right.
Don't rush it. Jesus. I already had the family there. They already had, the spread already put out for the wake afterwards to eat and reminisce. But no. Body's not even cold yet.
Literally.
When the coffin's steaming, that's a sign that the body is still alive.
Or, when there's a heartbeat, even when it's faint.
Oh, man. Yeah, brutal. Oh, well, definitely some weird stories there, Weirdo. Thank you for sharing. We're going to hit the reset. Be back with your F1 Lights right after the break. Keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1. Babuski. All right, we are back. Now, Rick, I saw that your comment that you're born and raised in Pennsylvania. So this next video clip that I'm about to share with you is going out to you. There's a Philadelphia man going viral just based off describing a bridge that collapsed in his area. And it's funny for several reasons, but the majority of the reason why this video went viral is because his PA accent. And you're gonna deal with accents.
I am.
It's something they're gonna ask you where you're from because they're gonna say you have an accent, and your accent is no accent.
Right.
It's an Arizona non-accent.
Exactly.
Yeah, but this guy is so Philadelphia, so Pennsylvania in general. I actually have a bunch of buddies that are from PA, so I'm familiar with it. Check out how he sounds.
Dude, so I was passed out and I woke up to nothing but text messages, phone calls. I had no idea what was going on. And I got dressed, I came out. I look down and I smell like a smoky smell, and I'm like, damn, dude. So it's crazy.
When you came out and saw it, did you know what was happening yet, or did it just look like a fire?
Well, no. So I got all those text messages, screenshots. I'm like, everybody's like, yo, where's this at? Like, nobody had a direct location. So I was like, look out my window, I see a bunch of cops. I'm like, bro, that's right by my apartment.
So when did you figure out and realize that the freeway collapsed, the northbound side?
Oh, dude, I was passed out when that happened. I was passed out and I woke up.
That's it. I was passed out. I'm just passed out. So I had a rager, right? No, I mean, I wish I had a PA accent, but
it's almost a little Californian and just a little bit, it's kind of weird.
When we're party bro,
Yeah.
and you burn the candle from both ends, then there's a certain fringed or like a kind of burnt out aspect in your accent. But then, of course, the region is the rest. So that's PA mixed in with a lot of booze, and probably the guy probably knows what cocaine smells like. That's all I'm saying. So all right, we got 28 seconds. We're gonna do our single song takeover today. And I'm going to let you introduce it after I give the setup. Okay.
Well,
so, yeah, you're going to say, here's Mother Bit by Bit on Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right. Don't fuck this up, dude.
Oh, God.
Don't worry about it. I do it all the time. You'll be fine.
This is what they call real radio.
What?
No, it's honestly exactly the same. All right, here we go. All right, Five Finger Death Punch on Rock 102.1 KFMA. It's time for the single song takeover. As you all know, management came up with a compromise, and they're like, if you stop messing with our playlist, we'll allow you to play one song you're choosing each and every day in the 9 o'clock hour. And it could be anything. And since our in-studio guest for the podcast broadcast is a good friend of mine that goes way back with me, Miss Dani Cutler from KWSS up in Phoenix. It's an independent station, and there were bands that we broke there all the time and helped build up. And one band in particular that we're massive fans of, that we were very prominent in building up their fan base and awareness in Phoenix for, was Mother. And we actually had many shows where we sold out venues. We started off small. We ended up going big and selling out, over 1,000-person venues on a Wednesday night for Mother. And they're the only place in America that this band was big. They were huge in Canada. They're huge in other areas, small pockets in the world, but really only Canada and Phoenix. And it always blew their mind, and they loved the passion and love that we showed them, and they always gave it back. And then during pandemic, something weird happened. They went viral on TikTok. And now they're a massive band all over the world, touring and doing festivals on some of the biggest festivals that you could name it. And they have added longevity and energy going into their career. But really, we go way back with them, 2010. Yeah. So I looked through the playlist, and sure enough, I got 3 different Mother songs in our playlist that we've played on this station before: The Drugs, Love Stuck, and Bit by Bit.
All great songs.
All great songs for sure. But I went with Bit by Bit because it has that cagey elephant vibe.
Yep.
And, I know that you love this song as well, Dani. So without further ado, I'd like you to introduce it. Are you ready?
Yes. Here is Mother, Bit by Bit on 102.1 KFMA.
Clear.
Like a professional.
That was perfect. Like a professional.
Not my first rodeo.
It wasn't. I'm going to jam this song out. Here's a little bit of music news for you in case you missed it. Yes, lots going on in the world of music, and here to give us the rundown is Weirdo. What you got for us, Weirdo?
Foo Fighters. They had their new album come out, and it is officially on the Billboard charts.
Nice. Where did it land on the Billboard charts?
It landed at number 8, and this will be the 10th time that the band has landed in the top 10 in their debut week.
So what, they sell like 300 copies? Because nobody buys albums anymore, right?
Yeah, I don't know how they track it anymore.
Well,
downloads, Spotify plays, I'm sure. I'm sure they've got a whole new algorithm that figures it out.
Nice, yeah. So number 8 on the Billboard charts. Be interesting to see. I bet you it's majority country and the top 7. I think country fans are the only ones still buying albums. Yeah, but where did it land on like rock and alternative?
At number 1.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
Yes. So number 1, and then right behind Foo Fighters at number 2 is Avenged Sevenfold's "Life Is But a Dream."
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good album from Avenged Sevenfold. And I've listened to it through and through. We played some deep tracks. I know Razor broke it down on Incoming and stuff. And you enjoyed the album too, right?
I did. And might be a little bit sad because the bassist said that this might be their last album.
I saw something on this, and I don't know if I necessarily agree. I mean, their last album, it's not that it's going to be their last album or music in general. They're going to stop with the album model, right? Releasing full albums,
right? Release an album, go on tour, release an album. Yeah, that same cycle.
Yeah, you got to clarify there. First off, they're not giving up on music, but at the same time, it did take them 7 years to put out this album and a lot of drugs, and they had to experiment with a lot of drugs. So as they get older, I think it would be wiser for them to kind of hold back on the drugs,
right?
small dose and then release a song or two at a time.
Exactly.
Saying, okay, we did a little bit of drugs. Here's a little bit more music.
Exactly.
Instead, we did a lot of bit of drugs. Here's an album.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll have to just see if that ends up being true. But Johnny Chris, their bassist, was just like, man, we're gonna look for something new.
All right, yeah. Well, and he also said they're tired of the same old rollout, so they're just going to experiment.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists are doing that, pop artists in particular. And it's unfortunate because the art of the album is still something that I cherish. A beautiful album from beginning to end is something that I think is a listening experience that everyone should be able to enjoy.
Right.
And just by getting small doses and songs at a time, just to be added to playlists is kind of soulless.
Yeah. What is your go-to album from beginning to end to listen to?
Oh man, it really depends. All right, we're back. And hold on. I got 5 seconds for one. There you go. The single song Takeover today is from a Vancouver band, Mother. Bit by Bit was the name of that track. It's an album that was off their Styx album, I think, back in the day. They got a new album coming out, if you dug the sound there, and that was our selection for Dani Cutler being in studio today. Welcome back to the show. Got a lot of things to cover, and I want to go through this UFO rabbit hole, but I'm going to show you a lot of it, right? I have to show you a lot of it. So it's definitely a podcast-worthy segment because this whole thing is kind of tripped out, but I think I could play a little bit of the audio so you can get caught up what happened. Now this happened just recently. There was a UFO incident where a UFO fell from the sky, right? And it was caught on multiple cameras. Ring cam, there was a loud boom, like a terrifying boom, caught on the ring cam. It was on cops' body cams. They saw the blue light falling out of the sky, and then shortly after, there was a 911 call talking about it. The whole thing was nuts. And the 911 call, it was a family who whose backyard had the UFO land in the back of it. And when they heard the commotion, they went out to see what's happening, and they stated that they saw 9 to 10 feet tall creatures with huge eyes, huge mouths, terrifying, right? So they called the cops. Cops arrived nervously because they knew that the blue light happened. They saw it themselves. And they're like, wait a second, this seems legit. And I'm scared, man, because they didn't train me for this.
Yeah. Bro, I got butterflies in my stomach.
Yeah, that was literally a quote from one of the police officers. Now, here's where the story gets even stranger. There was a TikTok video. They showed the TikTok video so where you could kind of see an outline and eyes of what might potentially be these aliens sighted. Okay. But what's adding to the mystery and getting people really concerned is that the family in question who reported all this is now gone. Yeah, they don't know where they're at. They're completely MIA, off the radar, and they booked a bunch of different interviews. They're ready to talk about it. They're ready to share their experience and let people know that they're not making this up, and now they're just nowhere to be found.
Wow.
Yeah, the entire family.
Yeah.
Not just one person,
right.
not 2 or 3, like the entire family. And it was a Mexican-American family, and on a big property, there was a lot of people living there, right? I'm assuming at least, 4 or 5 that are just gone.
Wow.
Yes. So that's what we're sharing with you right now. Let's hear a little bit of this.
Most compelling and credible UFO landing of our history has now been fully analyzed, and I can show you the extraterrestrial entities as well as a chilling update. Let's start with the report.
Body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
there's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
You can actually hear part of this phone call in the actual alien footage.
Their backyard.
No, I'm so nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star. Then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
You can actually still tell how nervous the family is.
Creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard? Or
they see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro blacked out that part of the video because it's considered private property.
And just how convenient is that? Thank God.
Right, but
Weird.
yeah, he said, "Thank God we actually have that video." So I'm gonna show you that video. I know this is not like great radio when you listen to this clip,
And you're
but
like, hey, listen, look at this.
this was so interesting, and to see this is to believe it. So youtube.com/beefvegan. We have more Beef Vegan Presents on the way, including your beef tips. So you keep it right here. Join us, youtube.com/beefvegan. All right, so let's continue with this because I do want to geek out on this. Ready?
We got the actual footage.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating.
Is that a toilet?
Okay, yeah.
You mean you're telling
And then they got a nice little ad here.
Okay, I was like, where is that coming from?
It's an alien.
The toilet fell
that's
from
what-
the sky.
I fucking knew it. DeVito's been an alien the whole time. How do you explain Danny DeVito?
Oh,
He's just ET with human skin on him.
The audio came through before the video, and I was like, what is
yeah,
happening?
that was kind of weird.
Yeah. No, that's DeVito. And look at his alien hand. It all makes sense now. Everything is starting to click.
Wow, Danny DeVito's really 8 feet. I don't know.
What?
Oh no! I'm saying he's the one that eats the Reese's Pieces. He's ET with human skin, you know. So hold on, let me just burn through that, and
That's
always
funny.
sunny. Okay, here we go.
Full footage that was uploaded to TikTok with the aliens in the yard. I'm gonna let you guys watch the original, and then I will show you the version I processed highlighting the beings. Notice how the family is fully armed. He has a gun in his hand, ready to shoot. That is how scared they are.
Yeah, they all have guns right now, like trying to go into the backyard. This is, if this is something that they staged, they did a really good job. But this essentially just a family who's discussing, like, okay, we got to go back there. There's something back there. Are you guys ready? And they all have guns ready to see what the fuck's going on. And then they still got scared.
Kylo, Cherro, que chili. Kylo, Cherro. Kylo. Uy, chetan. Chili cow. Chili cow.
He literally just said, oh my God, it has giant eyes and a big mouth.
Kay, firmizar, que firmizar, porque no, Cherro, que canundarela.
Now they're stating that the UFO is actually in the backyard, but it cloaks itself, right? So you can't see it. It's a way to kind of hide. Now in the backyard, of course, this is like a work area, right? They have a big kind of shed. They have a couple of tractors. So this is a working family that does some sort of construction and has a business. And for whatever reason, the aliens kind of went into that tractor area. So what is the purpose for landing in that area? It wasn't necessarily like a crash landing and say, is there something that they needed? Almost like is the Ace Hardware was closed, so they had to do that.
We need supplies.
Right. So he's going to show you now. It's going to be difficult to see on your computer, and it's probably going to be difficult to see on a small screen as well. But they do kind of show this kind of like high res version where it's kind of like black and white, and you kind of see the outline with like glowing eyes. It's kind of a trip. So check us out. So right now, essentially, the aliens are going to be in this area, like right above the truck, back in these tractor areas. And you're going to see two. There's going to be one, and there's going to be one right behind them or next to them, if you will. Next to them, I don't want to, be insensitive. Yeah, I don't want to misgender. I don't know, you know.
Forklift or camión?
Okay, so see that like kind of like glowing little dot right there? That's kind of like an eye, right? So it's this little like outline, big head, and then this one right here. So boom, boom. I think they're in the tractor, right? And tall, or standing in between them, but being tall enough where we can see them through the windows. Okay. And I think you can see in the mirror too. And again, I apologize if it's difficult to see, and this is boring for you guys, but this is a fucking Super exciting.
It's also your show.
Yeah.
Right.
Today I wanted to geek out about aliens. Sorry.
If you pay close attention, you can actually see the beings in the tractor blinking and looking at the family. I'll actually highlight it in the processed video.
Yeah, and so it's like their eyes are kind of like lit up, kind of like an animal's eyes at night, right? So these are the eyes, and you can kind of see the outline. The heads are huge as well. So one skeptic said, "Oh, it's probably just a raccoon standing on a fence," and they're like, "No, fuck you." We've seen raccoons. We know what raccoons look like. This is not anything raccoon-like.
All right, so this is a tractor, and then that. Okay, now I'm understanding what I'm looking at.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and it's going to be, you're going to have to see it on a big screen to kind of see the outline a little bit more. I see it clearer here than I did on my phone or even on my laptop. And because I'm looking at it, and you can kind of see full blown, and it is almost stereotypical in a way of like the traditional gray alien would look like. And it does, it lights up like a cat's eye. Exactly. And a little lower with the raising heat. I'm looking at Manny's thing. Manny, you speak Spanish, right? So you're hearing what they're saying and translating for me. I need somebody to make sure these translations are accurate, but I believe they are. All right, so we'll continue.
Now, this is the best that I could do with the video I received.
El segundo de aquel de para acá de cables.
Kay, quiero yo di ka la del.
Concha cortelo, concha dilo.
Kay, forklift o camión.
Cartelo pegachari para la loca te quedó con la.
And there you go. So, and you see them kind of moving around, and it's almost like it's oversized helmets or whatever the case. But you could tell in the tone of the voice, the fear there. The family's talking about it.
Super nervous.
Yeah. And they're by no means does it seem like this is a professional acting or YouTube prank or anything like that. You see the different ages of the family and stuff like that. They're kind of older, like they don't give a shit about this stuff. They're actually just hardworking people, right? They're farmers. So the last thing they're gonna do is some kind of like a TikTok prank.
Well, and the noises they heard beforehand, that would,
And the ring cam footage and the loud booms that you're hearing on this as well.
Right. Like I'm not like with the lead up with the cops, the fact that the family's like missing, a bunch of people saw the blue light. Like I'm not seeing anything on this. To me, that little light just looks like it's just reflecting off something in the tractor or beyond it through the window.
Yeah, well,
I have actually been a customer of BetterHelp for a little.
Yeah, have you been a customer of BetterHelp though? So you don't know what you're talking about. So, all right, here's more of this. You're not gonna see it on your shitty laptop, weirdo. But
I've got it on my phone, and you can zoom in on YouTube.
I'm kind of watching both.
Yeah. And kind of see that. I know. Like your eye, like
because I want to see it.
It's eye and it's blur and it is what it is. You're like, that's not
Circled
well enough.
is the creature in the tractor, and now I'm gonna highlight the one right behind him. Look at this. Look.
See, that's what it looked
Holy
like.
crap.
Yeah. So that's what they were seeing, and also 8 feet tall, right?
It looks like a little demon cat baby.
Yes, a demon cat baby for sure.
Look at its big eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me just scrub ahead to the news report. Here's the news report. Now neighbors were reporting to see several different black Suburbans at the house after the fact. Now this one reporter tried to downplay it, saying he owns a black Suburban as well, but there were reports of multiple black Suburbans as well.
What's more concerning is this update I'm going to add next. The entire family has now gone missing.
Get a read on this family. The family has ghosted everybody. They're not responding to interviewers that they made appointments with. They're not responding to telephone calls. I don't even know if they're in the house anymore. But what was your read when you were parked out front for hours and hours?
Yeah, so I'll admit I drive a black SUV.
Okay, there you go. We can explain the black SUVs away now.
Now, the reason they're trying to explain the black SUVs is that many families in the area noticed all of these black SUVs and men in black approaching their house.
I have been able to confirm noise, the big giant boom that the Ring camera had caught at one part of the valley. But there's some more issues with the backyard. Again, I don't want to discount what they're saying, but
now this is pure speculation, but the way that he's stuttering, I feel like he has a lot more information than he's giving up.
the house are slow taking pictures.
That is speculation, but yeah, the family's gone now, right? And missing, and we'll follow that. So yeah, that's the video that I wanted to share with you guys. It is sketch and something to look into, right? So And hopefully the family's okay, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully it is all much ado about nothing, but that is essentially, what the Vegas quote unquote alien sighting has been all about. And it'll be interesting to see what develops from there, or if anything. But as I did in my show open today, what we talked about. So if there's a situation, I'll give you a perfect like reenactment of what you should do if ever you come across anything like weird that you might think is like extraterrestrial. Like, so say you're like, you walk in your backyard, like, is that a alien?
Yeah. Nope. Right out of there.
Yes.
Just nope the fuck out. Turn
Yeah.
around, doesn't matter. Don't call cops, don't do anything. Just keep going and hope it doesn't follow you. That's it.
I just see, and maybe this is just being female. Anytime I'm out walking around and if I even just see a weird shadow or the breeze goes around, I'm like, I'm out.
Bye-bye.
I gotta go.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No, thanks. I'm gonna go home and go to bed.
Agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are a lot of weird things that are happening in the world today, and this just adds to the list of the many of the weird things. So, try to keep an eye out on it. It's not like it's front page news everywhere, but it's the internet, so the internet will continue to provide, and a lot of it might be fake, but some of the truth does kind of seep through the cracks, and we'll just keep you updated. So,
Manny, I may start an intergalactic war. You do that,
you
sir.
would, but they were strapped too, man. And then they were just like, you know what? I'm not shooting. Like,
Bye-bye.
they
Right.
essentially put those guns away, turn around, and did exactly what I just did, which is a smart thing. But the problem is they did call authorities, and maybe it was one of those situations. The whistleblower, who I think is bullshit, the one that's getting all the headlines lately, the guy that worked at the Pentagon, has made several statements recently, and he did say that aliens, the government knows that aliens have killed people, and they'll stop at nothing to cover that up, is what he said. But again, this is a whistleblower that is literally just like everything that he's saying is hearsay, stuff he heard and not seen. So this is why I don't necessarily believe in that guy, but
with the black SUV showing up too, like I do believe that there's some kind of, what they're actually called, the Men in Black or whatever, but there is a part of the government where that is their sole job. They do not have an identity, and they are there to just cover up whatever needs to be covered up to keep from the public going into panic.
Wow, I know. Well, what would the public do in that situation? And it seems like, again, like they're just trying to put out enough. I mean, we have the UAPs, we have the official departments, and we have all these like public actual programs happening to kind of ease into whatever. There's a reason for it, and it is baby steps leading towards, oh, by the way, ta-da!
They've been living among us.
Yeah, that's a theory, that's a speculation and all that. So, we will see. But it is interesting either way, even if you don't believe it's reality and just science fiction, it's a very interesting science fiction.
I hope the family's okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what I'm thinking about. I'm like, they're gone. And it's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I know. No, I
Right.
know.
And like you said, it seemed like they own a significant piece of property and possibly own a business with employees and things. So
I know, man. Brutal. But yeah, hopefully they are. But the entire family, I got to find out more information on that family too. So I think maybe Hot Rock will even go down the rabbit hole with that tonight on his podcast. So don't forget to check out Hot Rock is Wednesday night. So 7 to 9, they'll be live on the podcast, smoking weed, talking aliens. Man. All right. We got 23 seconds. I have a D head of the week that I want to share with you. I mean, I'm just making up that title right now. It's nothing new, but like, might as well just call this guy a D head. You know what? Honestly, you would assume you're gonna agree with me on this. And it'll be a real quick story. We'll play some commercials, and then I got a really cool beef tip to end the show. So here we go. There you go, the White Stripes and Rock 102.1 KFMA. It's time for your D head of the week. It's something that I'm just gonna call D head. Now, have you ever thought about faking your own funeral just so you could see if people would show up and care?
I mean, I've seen like in movies and stuff where somebody's like dying of cancer and they're like, well, I want to know what people would say before I go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that would be interesting. And then that's about where my brain stops.
Okay.
Same. I don't want to know.
Yeah. Well, one guy, he thought this and then he tried to make it a reality. And actually, in fact, he did. He's in Belgium and he faked his own death and then turned up to his own funeral in a helicopter as part of an elaborate stunt to teach his family a lesson about staying in touch. Now, this is
He
before
showed
Father's
up
Day,
in a
too.
helicopter?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
This guy's 45 years old,
Why?
right? And he told his wife and children about his plan, and then they helped him pull it off to go along with it on social media. So the ruse was outside of his immediate family, but not everyone else. And this was, again, just like jerk way to be like, hey, man, you never reach out and text me. It's a two-way street, bitch.
Yeah.
You can text instead of just, faking your death to make sure people be like, oh, man, I wish I hung out with him. But that's what he did. One of the daughters even helped to trick his followers with what many online have slammed as a cruel prank, writing on social media. Rest in peace, Daddy. I will never stop thinking about you. Yeah, I say this: you're playing with fire, karmic fire, right? You fake your death like this, and you think it's funny today. Well, guess what? Next thing you know, you're getting struck by lightning tomorrow.
Yeah,
right.
Not to mention, what is he teaching his children?
Right. Exactly. He better check in on his kids every single day, because if he misses a calendar day, they might try to do the same thing. I mean, they learn from watching him.
Yes.
But yes, so this guy, this Belgian dude named David Barton, is what I'm just gonna dub just a massive D head. Not even of the day. It's a D head move. Don't do it. Even if you have the funds to do so. Rolling up, seriously, douche as well.
Yeah.
Rolling
Right.
up in a helicopter.
Right. Yeah. It's not like he just like stood in the back in the corner and just watching.
Looking like Tom Cruise in
Right.
Mission Impossible.
Right.
Like, ta-da! Like, F you, man. All right. So I just wanted to share that with
You
you.
just got punked.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We're keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefvegan. Your beef tip coming up after these words. Keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1. Clear.
I wonder if Ashton Kutcher has ever like had to go to funerals, and if people are just kind of side eyeing, like, is this a punk situation?
Why is
this
he here?
legitimate?
Yeah.
He's like, it's my grandma. Thanks.
Yeah.
I think they definitely I think I recall there was some kind of like a funeral punked episode that they ended up not doing. It was an idea that they were going to do, and they ended up pulling it because it was in bad taste.
Yeah.
Let's see. Manny said, yeah, but proof is proof. Given the chance, I may engage. I've been in scary situations, can only speculate a close encounter of the third kind. Yeah. No. I mean, it was something that no one really wants to deal with unless it's like a close encounter where they're just like, we came down to give you eternal life or a bigger alien cock, whatever. I don't know. There's plenty of positives. And I do think this. I am of this mind where it's creative thinking and fantasy of sorts. But I'm like, oh, what if? Because we've been in scenarios of constant conflict with, very irresponsible leaders of power that could definitely wipe us out in an instant, right? I mean, hell, we got conflict going on right now, Russia and Ukraine, where that could, you're like, oh, we could go nuclear at any moment, right? But we haven't. And we kind of, like, there's been lots of situations where it's like it's right there, but then we haven't. Like, and my example of this is Fukushima. Fukushima, when the tsunami and the earthquake hit, Fukushima meltdown. It was a huge, like if you remember the news on this, like this could be catastrophic for everyone involved if this thing blows. Right. Yeah. Well, there are reports, speculation online that this thing was seriously about to be one of the worst events to ever happen in humanity. And then there was strange sightings in the sky and like a de-escalation of a nuclear sort at Fukushima to where it did not get to that point. Now, we still have nuclear waste leaking into the ocean. Don't forget about that next time you go to California on your summer vacation.
Right.
But, that was a situation where it seemed like, oh, no, that could have wiped Japan out off the map, but it didn't. Right. So the creative thinking in my mind, and again, it's all speculation and wishful thinking, is what if we did have these alien life forms, so obviously are around, have the technology to be cloaked among us, looking out for us as well, so we don't fucking do ourselves in like they've seen other civilizations do because we're that fucking stupid.
They're like, we like you guys. We're going to do our best to make sure you don't kill yourselves off.
Right. I want to see what's going to happen on the next season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Exactly.
So
you guys have been an entertaining show. We got to keep this going. Cannot be canceled.
Yes.
Or maybe they're just watching us. We're their reality show.
Well, that's the South Park theory that they came up
exactly.
with. And that's a good theory as well. So, that's the fantasy. That, again, that's just me speaking out of my ass. But I definitely have, from time to time, I've thought that, especially coming across stories like that. So let's see. I mean, if they were that bad at this point, we would have already known about it for generations and generations, not just random people getting plucked up from the sky and Flagstaff getting anally probed and played with and then dropped back off. So, all right, we got about 35 seconds before we go into a beef tip, and we won't have any of that. This is actual good tips. And so we're not even going to end with sex talk. We're not going to talk with, we're not going to end with alien talk or drug talk. You're going to be like, what fucking show is this?
Right. Is this for me?
Yes. Danny, I appreciate you coming down. It's fun hanging out with you.
No, there's not many men I would drive to Tucson for. I don't know why you're one of them, but but I love you.
I love you too. I love you too. And I'm glad that we had this moment before you head back east to Massachusetts. Did I say it wrong? All right.
I've heard a lot of that lately.
I'm sure. That's what they get for taking you. All right, we're almost out of time on the show, unfortunately, but I had a great time. You can watch the entire show on demand, as always, youtube.com/beefvegan and subscribe there. I'd like to thank our in-studio guest, Dani Cutler, a Phoenix radio legend for KWSS. And hopefully you'll continue to bless the airwaves in Arizona in the future. Not the very near future. Enjoy your,
taking a break.
Yeah, building on the next chapter. And, but I know that we'll hear from you again. Yeah. All right. Before we end the show, I'd like to leave you with a beef tip. And you ever feel like you're a lucky person or an unlucky person?
I think lucky.
Oh, you think you're lucky? That's good.
I think pretty neutral. I always think I'm like even Steven, like something will go really wrong and something will go really right, and it just balances out.
Well, I know that I've walked in casinos and considered myself the unluckiest person in the room, but coming across this makes me feel optimistic about my next time heading out to Desert Diamond casinos. You could make yourself luckier if you follow these 3 tips. Tip number 1, act like you're lucky. Fake it till you make it, basically.
Right.
One reason people get lucky is that optimists prepare better and put themselves in better situation than pessimists. So if you act lucky, you get lucky. So the people who believe that they're lucky, they might get hired for a great job because their luck makes them more confident in their interview, right? So act lucky. So number 2, shake up your routine. So when you step out of your comfort zone, your senses will be sharper and more random things will happen. That gives you more chances for unexpected luck to come your way. And tip number 3, to make yourself luckier, have a short-term memory. Yes. So if something unlucky happens, the best thing you do is forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next day, you're like, oh, look at me. I'm the luckiest person in the world. This just happened.
God, this is my boyfriend's mentality.
No, right. Well, this is all men's mentality.
Poor memory.
Especially when it comes to situations where, like, I know your memory. If your boyfriend did anything to step out of line, you'll remember it. And then 10 years from now, an argument happens. Remember when you did this and said this 10 years ago?
I don't do that kind of arguing.
You sound very unlucky. You need to really boost your luck and forget about all the times they said things that you didn't agree with. So if something unlucky happens, best thing you do, forget it. Scientists say the best way to have lucky things, to have these lucky things start happening again, is to start to keep making smart bets and to forget about the bad stuff. So those are your top 3 tips to make yourself a luckier person, and your beef tip for today. Hopefully it benefits you. All right, that's all the time we have for the show today. Tomorrow morning, we're going to talk with Supergirl in The Flash, Sasha Cale. Yeah, she'll be checking in on the show. We're going to have Rico on and a bunch of other guests. It's going to be a good one. Join us then. Until then, Robin Nash is up next. Enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later.
When
still do that catchphrase.
Bye.
Same sign off. Same guy, Danny. Forget about it. Thank you guys for watching.
If you've been mean or kind of bad, I will knock out all your teeth.